Hi everyone, it's Eileen here. This is my art journal, my new one that I'm working on, and it is big. It is a photo album, and it's very large, and I took all the plastic sheeting out, or whatever, that put the photos in, and I started an art journal in it. And so I'm doing another layout here, and I'm putting a paper behind in there. I will probably need my bookmark. So what I use to do this particular thing I want to do is to use recycling on it. I'm going to use a card, a plastic card, to spread my glue. So I'm using Aleene's decoupage. That's what I like to use on here. And I have some coffee filters that I've been dabbing paint with. So I'm going to glue them down for when I'm working and stuff. I've been using them as paper towels. They're very cheap, for like really cheap. And I wanted them to make flowers and whatnot. So these are my leftover pieces from making flowers. So I'm going to use these as well. And these ones I've been using to pick up ink and stuff like that when I'm spraying. So I'm going to use those to add to this journal. So it's going to be recycled art journal. I also have a bag full of paper to recycle. I have napkins that I bought for crafting, but pieces of them that I haven't used necessarily, so I don't know if that would be called recycling, but I bought them for the purpose of art, so I have those. And then I have some old tissue paper. I also have some of this mesh tool that cut out flowers, so I might use some of that in there as well. And just a piece of paper that I haven't finished using, so I used most of it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get started and spread the glue around. And get the show on the road. So I'm just going to do that. I found that using the card for me does get the air out better than using the brush, than using the paintbrush. Because I do have glue brushes that are in the water. But for this particular layering of recycled papers and coffee filters and stuff, I find that this works better. And I'm going to perhaps move my stool back a bit. I can see the whole journal. So I'm just going to put them all over here for my first layer of paper down. And go along with this one Gold's really pretty. And get it in the crease here. And I'm just going to add some glue where it's missing. I'm going to swipe it on top. You're definitely going to need paper behind it when you're doing a project like this, or not work all the way to the edges to catch the glue. You can use watered down glue as well, like making Mod Podge. I'm just using up this glue here with this. I'm going to stick one more here and probably one down here. And whatever goes over the edge, that's okay, because I'm just going to cut that off. Just like that. I add more glue. I like that. I like the way that looks. I'm going to put more right here. I am putting a lot of glue on, but I do have a lot of layers to do, so it's going to spread pretty good, I think. I have been doing this before and it worked really well, so I'm just going to tear it a little bit here just to get that corner right here. So I really like the look of this. I've done one before on a piece of like that sticky matte paper that you peel and put in cupboards and drawers and stuff like that. I did it on like a clear one, and I just put binding clips on a cardboard and just put all these layers of this stuff on, and it really worked well, and I loved the look. So now I'm going to start putting this one on. These ones I inked with alcohol ink, and then I stamped them with Stampin' Up! Ink with roller. The circles are the roller, and then the swirls are the rollers as well. Roller pad ink pad. And squirt some more everywhere. I'm going to add more color right here. Making it very random, and it's going to be nice layers and lots of colors just going to poke through. I've got glob in there, glob of glue. That's really yummy. why it wasn't coming out right. Could feel the blockage while I was squeezing. Oh, this one's got a nice blue in there. And this one's pretty random, so I'm going to stick that in there too. I know I'm putting it right across, and I think it's going to work, so... So now I'm going to put some scrap papers on there. I'm going to pull out some stuff. And I'm just going to randomly, without thinking too much about it, just put some scrap paper all over. And I'm going to have to grab lots of random stuff. Don't want to put anything too thick. Some of these cardstocks are fairly thick. I'll put a little bit more glue on there, and then once I put some tissue paper on top too, so that helps hold it down as well. It gives it a really nice look as well. So there's some book paper that I cut out some butterflies on from. Throw more in here. Yeah, I know it's heavy on the glue. That's okay. It's gonna look really good. Here's some of my scraps. I was doing Y-Wop stuff. That's got great texture in it right there. You need a little extra glue for it, but always ever look nice when you have something over top of it. I'm going to put some of that over here. I'm going to put a little extra glue down. It gives it really nice texture when I just put a little extra glue down. I'll show you some of the texture. You can get really nice texture out of it. This is just glue that I was doing on the this coffee filters in the bottom, and I peeled it away from the piece of plastic. And here's the texture from that. If you could see it underneath it, it just looks so nice. It works really, really nice. And oops, get glue, more glue on my fingers. And put some more blue on this side. I want to get some purple in here. It's looking really good. And how about a bit of green? It's not a strong green, so it's nice. See how it goes. Right in here. Oh, my dogs are outside. The kids are playing with them. There, that is good for that layer. I'll put more glue on it, spread that around. Try to get some of the air bubbles out. That really, when it gets too much air in there, it's not good. The card works really good for that. It's so much less. It's bumpy in a good way, but it's not like wavy bumpy. And air pockets and that kind of thing. And I have a hair that fell out. I always lose my hair. I have hair that fell out. I'll just put a few coffee filters on top. Okay, so I'm going to put some tissue paper on top. Now I'm actually going to use some napkin paper. So I'm going to rip some of the stuff that's been used and torn before. I'm just going to rip it more and add it on top. And it just gives it such a good color, and colors come through, and it just looks so, I love the way it looks. I have several different napkins. That I'm using. And so far, this is my favorite way to use them. I've used them on art journals before, just as backgrounds, putting a whole piece on. But this is so much fun, because with the stuff underneath, you get a whole bunch of color popping through. I love it. I like it a lot. I've also embossed paper napkins and stuff like that. And you know how you separate them from the back? I embossed the white, and you can paint them and stuff. It's really, really neat. There's lots you could do, just tons. I'm making them a little bigger than normal. We'll see how that works. Usually I tear them up a little bit smaller, but I can also tear more and put it on top too. Because right now I really just want them to hold down the paper that I have underneath.
Daddy needs you to go upstairs.
I'm going to put some more glue on this side. I have actually had to go help the children with some stuff, so I had to leave. So the glue actually dried. So far, this is what I have. I'm going to try to see what colors. I have more napkin here I'm going to use. So I'm going to use this kind of blossom pattern napkin. So let's see how this goes. got bumped. You can see lots of the paper underneath. It's really pretty. And let's go with some of the rose pattern over here on my ledge. I wonder how, I can't remember how big my ledge is here. It's gluing right to the paper. Check that. I went to go help the children and I left that. Okay. So I did a layer of coffee filters. I did a layer of scrap paper as well as a layer of this tissue paper, which I'm actually just going to go with this paper instead of actual like the craft tissue. Some people do the craft tissue. And I'm separating this one. This one has a nice dove on it, so I want to try to get as much of that dove over here as I can. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not even sure why I put more glue on this side because, oh, maybe I could put a little bit more tissue over here. And since I have this black overlapping, I might just use that right here to add a little darkness. Just like this. I think that's neat. I'm gonna have to clean up all these napkins. I kind of pulling them apart. And now I want this little butterfly. Now you can kind of, for the top layer, maybe choose and pick a few pieces that you want to use in it. It looks nice. And I like that butterfly. As well as I have this piece here that I'm going to use for just kind of roughing it up like this to get it to separate a bit. It's going to work. Yep. This is one of the harder ones to take apart, I recall. I think it's just the way they did the paper. So I'm going to have to, it's not going to be a whole piece of these, but I'm just going to rip it away. I want the center piece a bit, so going to put it right here like that. Just like that. And I just love the way the glue really smears when you use the card. And I might just break it up a little bit right here. Adding a little glue because it's drying pretty good. Now for my scrap layer of recycled paper, that's what I am doing for this part here. So now I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to dry it with my heat tool and go from there. I also wanted to put a couple of these in there, recycled. These Withers packages. But I meant to put them underneath a little bit, so I might have to layer it up a little bit more. But I'm going to actually put a little bit of that in there, too. So I'm not quite done now. I'm not sure how it's going to stick. It's my first time using one of these Withers packages. But if we put some tissue over, it should do it a very good job of helping it hold down and still seeing some of the gold. Oh yeah. That's a way to have it come out a little bit. So maybe I'll put one right here. I was thinking about melting them down and try making beads out of them, so I'm going to try that with them. I have a whole bunch. My husband eats them like crazy. So, and just stick that on there. It's very wrinkly where you twist it. Okay, let's see what color I shall put over here. Would that be big enough? A little extra glue. I really wish I would have thought of that before. It's coming through really nice on that tissue paper. See, I love the way the tissue allows the colors of the underneath scraps come through. I'm going to put one more right here. And it looks like we're just going to have 3 Withers packages or wrappers on here. The gold looks really nice. Did I undo that one well enough? So I don't like the way it looks right there, so I'll tear it. There. That's good. I'm going to tear it away. I don't like the really straight edge right there, but I'm going to tear it a little bit more just to make it look a little better. I'm going to throw a little bit more glue. I think I'm done now with this layer. Just didn't like the straight edge on there. It didn't look proper. And in fact, looks like I still have a bit of a straight edge right there. I'm going to try one more white one here, a black and white. I'm going to put it right in the corner because I'm not really liking the hard edges right here. So I'm going to put it on like so. There we go. I think I'm going to need more. Right here. It's still coming through, it's just that I think that last piece wasn't big enough to hold that wrapper down the way I want it to. The wrapper is quite bumpy, so it's kind of making it harder to adhere. And the material. Okay, I think we're done. For this stage. So I think this is the first part of the video, and I'm just going to start a new video for the second part. So I guess I'll see you at the second video. Bye bye. Just a little quick thing, I added this tool here. So I'm recycling this. I punched out flower shapes on there. So I have about 4 pieces and I'm recycling them in there, and I hot glue them in there. It still opens and closes perfectly well, my book. So I'm talking a little quiet because my husband went to bed. Yeah, I might even hang some beads on there, but I wanted to show that quick. I didn't want to just pop up one day. But I did hot glue that in there. So another recycled piece.